Just a little bit of context, some takeaways, a few honorable mentions, and then 2 questions. So for context, we see Tasha and Tamika getting together. Tamika reached out to Tasha so that they could talk a little bit more about what's going on within their relationship. They meet at a studio where Tasha is recording. Tamika first starts off by telling Tasha that she had a positive conversation with their mother. Tasha proceeds to kind of inquire about how did they get into this bad situation with their sisterhood. Kind of were talking at the same time, and so Tasha was kind of like, like we both need to be accountable, but it was more like, you need to take responsibility in this bad situation that we're in as well. Tamika was saying, yes, we both need to be accountable. There was already a little bit of tension there. I feel like this conversation could have been the start of them trying to get in a place where they can really talk and be transparent and be honest about some things, but it's still fresh. I'm just going to be honest and say I don't believe that their sisterhood will ever get back to the way that it was. And I don't think that that's such a bad thing. Once they're able to address all of these money allegations and begin the healing process, I think it'll be a more balanced relationship because Tamika won't just accept whatever her older sister tells her. They're women now. That's not a bad thing. Moving over to conversation regarding the last song that should be performed. As they're discussing costumes and stuff, the subject of the last song came up. Of course, Xscape wants to end the show with Understanding. SWV wants to end the show with Weak. Now, if we're just looking at songs, all things equal, if we're just looking at songs, yes, I think most people would say end the show with Weak. It was a more popular song. Now, let me pause here because a couple of episodes ago, do y'all remember this clip? I don't know what their business breakdown is, but just watching the show, it seems like they came together to do this concert slash tour or whatnot. As a viewer looking at it, I'm just like, Candy was damn wrong for that because this is supposed to be SWV and Xscape together. Okay, so yeah, that was me saying that I felt like the way in which Candy went about addressing the co-headliner situation came off as disrespectful. I still believe the way that they edited it, it made us feel like Xscape was too good for SWV. But now having seen the speak on it, and I normally don't watch things outside of the show, but my sister has been bombarding me with stuff. So I've seen Candy speak on it. She kind of touches on the business side of things. And then I saw Tiny's recent Pretty Girl Hustle podcast on YouTube where she takes a deeper dive into just how expenses go with production and costumes and all of these various things. So it kind of gave me more context. When I was looking at it as a viewer, I'm thinking, okay, this is a co-headliner situation. But I'm looking at it as, okay, if you co-headlining, that means y'all have to agree on how the set is going to be, production, all of that type of stuff, all of the expenses split down the middle. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking everything is co, so that means equal footing. So you get paid the same, but you spend the same too. And that's just not how it works, especially when one group does one thing and then the other group does another thing. So now in hindsight, I'm looking at this. It would have been nice to see a 10 to 15 city tour and some type of co-headliner situation, but given the information that has come out now, I don't know that that would have worked. And it doesn't make one group bad and the other group good and vice versa. It's just they're two different groups. They require different things. I had a bit of a change of heart with Candy speaking about the business side of things because what she was saying from their point of view regarding the business was valid. I still do not agree with social media fandom equating to ticket sales. I still have a problem with that only because these are groups that are nostalgic. So getting to the final part of the episode, which was the most disturbing part of the episode. All of Xscape gets together to meet up to have a group meeting. Tamika has this blue folder. In this blue folder are printouts of text messages. Who are the text messages between? Supposedly the text messages are between Rocky and one of the promoters that they deal with. According to the promoter, Rocky had been receiving money under the table in order to get the girls to perform. So I think he had received $10,000 according to the text message. And according to the text message, Tasha already knew about $10,000 that he had gotten and that he was going to be getting even more money once Tasha was able to convince the girls to do the show for this promoter. None of the girls knew about Rocky getting money under the table. This was all new to them. This information came from the promoter. So Tamika presents this information to Tasha. And And Tasha starts off like, what is this? This doesn't make any sense. Like, what is this? And Tamika and Candy were just like, that's Rocky and the promoter having a conversation about Rocky getting paid money. And she was just like, but so you really believe this? Like, this doesn't make any sense. And they were just like, why would he lie? So you don't think he would lie? Like, she kept trying to flip it, but they weren't backing down. They had it in black and white. It wasn't as easy. Tasha is used to saying something doesn't exist, and then it kind of just eventually goes away. But now there's documentation, so you can't really dispute that. Tiny eventually speaks up and says there's no money that should be given that the group does not know about. Now, I did a video on Tasha's apology. Within some of the comments, some people were asking me my thoughts about Tasha's marriage to Rocky. I specifically tried to stay away from that topic because I know that a lot of people have what some would deem as non-traditional relationships, right? And what a man and a woman does or does not do in their bedroom is really, it's really none of my business, you know. So I don't really judge that. As long as two people are in agreement, whatever you into it. That's just the way I feel about it. But it appears as though Tasha and Rocky are in two different relationships. It's like she has that Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. The only problem is Clyde is all over the place. Within her apology, she brought up the fact that she's in an open relationship. You know, I feel like that was just another way to take the negative light off of Rocky and kind of take some of the pressure out of the balloon. Whatever the case may be, if they've been in an open relationship all along, I don't know. Only thing that I can say is that I don't have a dog in the fight, but I do pray in all sincerity that Tasha sees her worth. When you've been with a person for that amount of years, you start to justify a lot of behavior that you wouldn't have justified before. I can't say that everything that's going on is 100% Rocky, but his influence is so heavy that I just believe that Tasha feels that she's doing the right thing by standing by her man. And that's the decision that she's made. Unfortunately, it's having a major impact on her life, opportunities, how she's viewed by the public. My hope for her is that she can ask herself if all of this is worth it. You know, Rocky has the gift of gab. He seems like he can be very convincing. For her to walk away from a 20+ marriage, that's not going to be easy. I don't care what anybody says about Rocky. That's not going to be easy. Now, some women can do it because they've been working to get out of the marriage for years before they actually physically leave. I don't believe that Tasha is there. And I don't even know if her leaving Rocky is the answer for her, is what she feels is the answer for her. Okay, now for honorable mentions. It was so good to see Harris and Zanique. I love seeing how much Harris has grown up. And I also really liked seeing Zanique. She's so mature for her age, so talented. I really wish that she could be a part of a tour like a Lotto and Lizzo type of tour. Another honorable mention, Jay decided to go back to dentistry school. I think that is the best decision for him because he seemed like he was okay with making that decision to go back. He said that if he didn't decide to go back, he would have regretted it later on. So I am proud of him for that. All right. So getting down to the questions. My first question is, if you have watched Candy speak on it, if you have watched Tiny's Pretty Girl Hustle, where they kind of break down the business of how these shows run, do you still believe that SWV and Xscape should co-headline? And my second question is, do you think that Tasha was not aware of the accusation that the promoter made of Rocky taking side deals? Do you think Tasha knew, or do you think Tasha did not know?